How is that? I got that out of that mud puddle back there.
I'm trying to fall and die.
Look at there's the root right there. Look at that. Because there's a good possibility we might find some things in there. It bleeds. Things are really starting to blossom and grow. Put a camp up right here. All right, my daughter Eloise and I are gonna go back in here in these woods and do some mushroom hunting. I'll tell you, it's right at the beginning of spring. What we're hunting for is morels. And right at the beginning of the spring, when you get a bunch of rain and things are really starting to blossom and grow, that's the perfect time to go hunting for wild mushrooms. We call them, they're actually morels. So we're gonna go back in these woods. We're gonna take you guys with us, see if we can't find some wild mushrooms. Oh, look at this, there's like a creek here. Okay, what we wanna look for, and I'll tell you what, we wanna get back in there by that big tree. You see that big falling down tree right there? That's what we want to try to get into. I gotta get my glasses. I can't see. How your boots feel?
Good.
What you want to do is just look at the ground real close. That's why I need my glasses. If you see anything poking up, that's just the kind of thing we're looking for. A lot of onions there. We're going to search this area right here real good and tight, okay? Because there's a good possibility we might find some things in there. And what I'll do, I'll set this camera up like this. And then you and I can go out down there and do our thing. Bloodroot. Yeah. All right, it's growing all over the place here. I want to show you. We ain't found no mushrooms yet, but this right here is called bloodroot. I've talked about it in the past. There's some growing right here. You can recognize it in the early spring by these white flowers that it grows, but it's got a very unique leaf type. So let's dig up some of this bloodroot. The Indians used to use it for paint and various things, medicine. The root, when you dig it up and you break it, bleeds like, it looks like blood. Have I ever showed you this, Eloise?
No, I know somebody.
Okay. Look at this. Let's get the camera real close here. Look at there's the root right there. Let's give them a really good look at that leaf. It looks like I always thought that the root looked like an old gnarled finger. There we go. Now I got it. It broke off. but I got it. Here, come over and check this out. Here, see it?
Oh yeah.
It's covered in mud. But watch this. Remember I said, I always thought of it as like a gnarled finger. Let's wash it off there in that little bit of water right there. See that?
Yeah.
And watch what happens when you break it in two. It bleeds.
Huh.
Isn't that cool? You
Yeah.
squeeze that. See the blood coming out?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Want to try to break that?
Yeah.
Look at that. Isn't that cool? Bloodroot. And you wipe that on you for... I used to think you could wipe that on you as like an antiseptic, like if you cut yourself, but from what I understand, if you do that, it makes scarring worse. So you don't want to use it as medicine. Also, there's some other uses for it. Medicinal uses that the Shawnee Indians would do with that. Want to dig up another one? You want to dig up one?
Yeah. Is this a bloodroot?
That is, but there's another easier one, I think. The first one I saw. You see it's right there in that little stream?
Yeah, this?
Yeah. You want to get down into the root with your fingers. There you go.
I got kind of weak fingers.
Go put like your finger back behind it and kind of drill your finger down in there. You getting it?
Yeah.
You just wiggle your finger down in there until you can. You want to try to get it out of the hole without breaking it.
Like that?
Yeah, looks like it's coming out. Now wash it off in that little water there. Boy, that looks like a good one too, Eloise. Wash it off, get it all clean. Oh, she's got a good one. Eloise got a really good one. Look at that. All right, here, let's bring it up and show it to the camera.
Yeah.
You can do it, you can show it. Right there.
Yeah.
Look at that, bloodroot she found. Now you want to do the honors of cracking her in two and showing them what it does?
Yeah.
Look at that.
That is a lot of blood.
It's a lot of blood. It looks just like blood, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now let's not find out what real blood looks like because I don't want to snap my fingers into.
But when I was your age, I'd go down in the woods and I'd find these and I'd collect them. And just the root, I always thought of as like somebody lost their finger. It's just like a gnarled finger
Yeah.
down under the dirt.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is pretty sweet. You want to break it again?
Yeah. Hold this part. There we go.
Look at that. That's still, you know, I'm almost 50 years old. That still amazes me. It still amazes me. All right, what do you say? Let's go back to looking for mushrooms?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to look all throughout this area here and see what we can find. You can keep them. You can do whatever you want to. Put them in your backpack. They're dirty, but if you don't mind the dirtiness. Muddy, I mean.
I can put them in my jeans, I suppose.
If you'd like.
They'll do that.
It's just dirt.
Yeah. All right, I'm coming into the frame again.
My eyes ain't what they used to be. But you want to watch your steps, because you might end up stepping right on them or stepping right over them.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna search all this area right around in here, around these old logs and stuff.
I love nature, but sometimes.
Look, that's not what we're looking for, but that's a good sign. We found a mushroom over here. It's not the kind we're looking for, though. Look around this log here. All right, you were saying you love nature, but
Sometimes I'm a little bit disgusting because one time there was a little stick in my hair, and when I pulled it out, I thought it was a worm.
you did.
Yeah,
But it wasn't a worm.
it was a worm.
It was a worm?
But it wasn't.
Oh.
Like, oh, my hair. About having long hair is that, like, sometimes sticks get caught in my hair
Yeah.
and it hurts. It doesn't hurt. It just pulls on my hair. It hurts. This is what happens when you get sick.
You know, we're back and then this old log here. And that log over there.
Are you trying to finish the book?
What's that?
Are you trying to finish the book?
Yeah, I'll finish it. Look for the thorn. The briars.
I'm trying to fall and die.
You're trying to fall and die? Don't do that.
No.
Go on under.
Limbo. Up for a game of limbo?
Okay, let's keep our eyes peeled. Remember what we're looking for. I think when we get down into there, we have a good chance of finding some. Let's go and head down that way.
I think I see something.
Oh, yeah?
I think.
All right, let's go back this way.
No, I think I saw something down there. Somewhere.
Somewhere down there. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Hey, look at that.
What? That vine?
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Somewhere out there. See all these fallen logs and stuff?
Yeah.
And we're down in this holler. That's where I used to find them the most in my youth. So that's what we're going to put our attention on.
Dragonfly. A baby dragonfly.
That's dragonfly?
It's really tiny. Yeah, I found a mushroom. The star is on a mushroom, but it looked like a picture. Look, and I saw this. I could be statue.
You could.
By the way I was posing here.
Uh-huh.
Mushrooms. Oh, bunch of them are
Yeah, fungus.
fungus.
Fungus growing on that old tree. Let's search this area here real close. You see that creek down there? This holler. This is actually, I think they say that mushrooms like to grow up around the birch trees. This is a fallen down birch tree. Okay, we're gonna cross over onto the other side of this creek here. We're gonna work our way down both sides of this holler. beautiful.
I have stuttering problems.
I think here's a good place for us to cross right here. With your little legs.
I'm over here.
You can come, you can do it. See that tree, little tree right there? You cross right over and grab that tree. I'll hold on to one hand. There you go, you got it?
I thought I was gonna fall and die. that is an example of many heart attack moments.
It's careful. Remember, you might be walking right over top of them. Here's some more bloodroot right here. Like I said, I used to find them where I'd find bloodroot. So we should be seeing them all over the place here.
Maybe no one cared about the bloodroot and already got all the mushrooms.
Well, you know, that is entirely possible.
Well, either way, it's still an adventure.
Boy, it's humid out here today. Aren't you glad that you didn't wear that sweater? All right. It looks like an asparagus or something, doesn't it? A Brussels sprout. I don't know what those are called. We used to use them to as covering for lean-tos and stuff like that because they grow a lot in the woods. In fact, I'm sure they've got a name and a purpose and all that stuff. I just don't know what it is. All right, let's search all this area here.
I feel like I just walked through a spider web.
You know that? Where?
Right there.
No, that's a leaf. It looks like a shell, a nutshell.
Oh.
They'll be poking up among the leaves like that little plant is. But they'll be brown or tan. This plant here, see how it's got stem and everything? Yeah. It's planted in the ground.
Ice cream. Half vanilla, half chocolate. Dad, look. Half vanilla, half chocolate.
Tree. I want to look all up alongside this log over here. Always look over the log. Make sure you can see what's on the other side before you step over it, so you don't step on a coiled snake.
It'll be hard for me to pass over some logs.
You're growing. It won't be like that forever.
Sometimes when I'm behind you and you're stepping over big things,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it hits me in my face.
It does?
Sometimes.
Oh, well, I try to be conscious of that and not let that happen.
Well, just 2 seconds ago, when you were stepping over something, these things,
Uh-huh.
it hit me in my arm.
Well, it's a two-person job. It's my job to try to make sure that things don't reasonably slap back and hit you. And it's your job to be aware that they might anyway, and to be on guard against it.
There's something on my leg.
Hopefully it's not a big old, hopefully it's not a big old anaconda or something. King cobra. Ouch. Well, briar got me good.
Now you feel what I feel.
There's something akin to it. I don't know. I was hoping for more success than this. It might be too much rain, not enough sun. Over that big branch is down over there. Let's check around that.
Thorn got me on the leg.
They're sneaky, ain't they? They're sneaky. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm about done for today.
Stop.
Huh? Come on. Come on. Let's go sit on this log over here and say our goodbyes to the video. How's that?
Okay.
Right there. See that log? Go sit on it. There you go. Got it? How is that? I got that out of that mud puddle back there. That is some pretty darn good mud water. You want some more mud puddle water? All right. It's a humid day. It's nice that the rain stopped.
You just jinxed us.
Did I? One more thing I want to say about these wild mushrooms that we didn't find any of today is that if you do go out hunting for morels and you do find them, you don't want to pull them out by the roots. If you do pull them out by the roots, you want to shake them around that ground so that the spores can be distributed in that area, and then the mushrooms can continue to grow season after season. And well, I reckon that's about all I got. You got anything you want to say? All right. Let's head back to the truck. What do you say? There you go. Just go around it. All right. You're good. You're good.
See, I love nature, but there are some problems about it.
Well, that's true. But there's some problems with everything in life. I think what we'll do is we'll head back this way and then up through there. I think we're parked somewhere out there.